Hey guys, it's Jonna, and I'm on the Zach Nichols podcast. What could we be talking about? I don't know. Become a patron.
All right, welcome back to the Zach Nichols podcast. As usual, I'm here with Big P.
What up?
But more importantly, a very special guest today, Jonna Mannion, challenge champion,
Champ, back to back.
double champ, yeah,
Back to back.
Can we have one more round of applause for
double
the champion
championship,
in the fucking house?
double championship ice cream. Way
Double
to go.
championship. So wait,
Hey, 500K. It's not
wait,
bad.
$500,000?
500. You know, that's what Nehemiah calls me. 500K, Jonna.
Oh
you know,
shit!
because
That
what I
is
want.
a fat bank account, huh?
I mean,
How much have you spent?
I spent some on paying off my house. I also bought Kevin a truck. That's pretty much what I've spent. The rest I've like invested and still have. A bank
Okay,
account.
the investor.
Did you invest in a makeup company?
No,
No, hair
No.
company?
no,
Oh,
I should.
you should. I mean,
Yeah, I should invest in myself
that's
doing
yeah.
hair and makeup.
So what'd you invest in? I love stocks and stuff.
So we got some guy that Wes recommended to us.
Oh, dear Lord, it's all gone.
it's-
It's gone. It's all gone.
No, but it's I'm sorry, it's invested in like it's a general thing
I
that
know.
it's like a bunch of different things.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm talking
yeah.
about?
I got a couple of those.
You do?
I got a lot of different. I'm very financially very smart.
The fun.
Yeah.
I
oh,
actually
know.
used my winning from Battle of the Seasons to purchase my first home. That's how long I hung on. I hung on to that for.
Yeah,
I guess like congratulations. Also, more importantly, you're a mother.
I am.
That's awesome.
Mother and
Uh-huh.
wife. Round of applause for John A.
So-
Stevens in the
Oh,
building.
yeah, I said your name wrong.
It's okay.
Your
I
husband's
corrected.
probably pissed.
So online, yeah, it says Johnny Mannion. And I
shout out
kept
to-
it that way.
Big shout out to Kevin for letting you come through.
Fuck yeah. I mean, come on, he's a G. He's holding it down. Lavender, my dog, just broke her paw. And I mean, he holds it down with the kids. Like I just pick up and leave and, you know.
Big shout out. And since we're shouting
Hey.
out the spouses, big shout out
Yes,
to my sister Jenna in the building. Round of applause for Jenna.
she's the champ. She's the people's champ.
Absolutely.
She's going through a lot right now.
There's some flowers that need to be given out. I just want to look at this resume, just like from a glance, real quick. Okay, we got 11 challenge seasons, 7 flagship, World Championship, USA 2, and All-Stars, 3 finals, 2 championships, $500,000 won, and all the way back from Rivals 2, barely part of Era 3. So
Barely.
Yeah.
Just barely.
The only reason you're part of Era 3 is because you left your passport on an airplane.
Yeah, surprise.
Talk about that.
Is that surprising to you?
No, not at all. Actually, Wes probably took your passport and threw it out the window because.
Listen, part of me thinks like as we were sitting on the plane, you know, like Wes loves rookies, right? He's just talking to me about the game. I haven't been to a challenge before. Like I have no idea what I'm in store for, right? And so yeah, I blame it on him because I blame him for just like talking to me about the game and you know, it must have fallen out of my pocket. So it's 100% Wes's fault.
it's always Wes's fault.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
And when all your money is gone overnight, it's also going to be Wes's fault. But
My money's not gonna be gone overnight.
you never know with Wes.
Oh.
He told you to give it to some guy. It's going to be gone someday.
Oh yeah, that's what the blocks is.
Yeah. Anyways,
Stop.
let's just get into season 40.
Uh-huh.
So you had come back, right? You did the All-Star seasons.
Listen, I am just as shocked that I am on season 40 as everybody. Like,
I don't think anyone
Oh,
was
yeah,
shocked.
we're definitely
no,
not shocked.
I mean, not after like obviously the comeback that I've had, but like if you take flagship John A before, like would I be on season 40? I don't know.
If you
That's a
didn't,
good
if you didn't
point.
have 2 wins and were on World Championships,
Yeah,
I
No.
don't think so. And the
No.
only reason why you went home on World Championships was because Homeboy couldn't.
I know.
wouldn't
That
even
was
get-
the third win that I was just.
What a moron! Didn't your partner just try to dive
Oh
in?
my God! Listen, it was like a blob. Like if you've ever been to summer camp,
Yeah, he
it's
couldn't
like a
blob.
He couldn't blob.
This is
bro.
the World Championship blobber.
Are you?
No one blobs harder than him.
Okay.
Come on now.
Listen,
Cushion
and
for the
you know,
pushing,
you know
my
how
boy.
Beforehand, they have like the safety guy. We had safety Bob
Yeah,
there.
what the hell was
he
he
was just
doing?
like, you know, land on your bum, like make sure you do whatever. And he's like, there's literally no way you can fuck this up, is what they told us beforehand. And I remember afterwards, even Justin Booth was like, you know, we have these challenges where people are jumping out of helicopters and doing all this shit. And of course, the one that your partner goes home on is a camp game.
Yeah,
blob.
There's literally children around the whole United States, probably the world, that are excellent blobbers.
There's a whole movie dedicated to people like me called Heavyweights that I just studied the blob. So
You know what though? I'm not hating on Grant. Here's the thing, like something does come with challenge experience, you know, like being in those situations where you're like the nerves of like, oh, I've been strapped to a building before. Oh, I've done this before. I've jumped off this truck. Like it's fine. But like that's when you got to show up is like the very simple jump on the blob moments where you don't tear your ACL and MCL and then get
And not only did he suck at the blob
from the global championship that your partner has been training for forever.
He injured himself on a blob.
Yeah.
Well, back to 40. It is, I mean, there's something to be said about being the most decorated challenger on your era. I mean, you have 2 rings.
What about
Tori has
Jordan?
one.
Come
I mean,
on. He's not there yet.
Oh, for the
women.
sure,
for the women. Because, you know, people talk about Tori in those, you know, big time conversations.
Tori's the goat.
You're going to say that?
I'm going to say that. Tori's amazing.
Hold up.
She's great. Like in modern day time, like of like current challengers.
Yeah.
Who am I terrified of? Like going against Tori all day.
Okay,
I mean,
so
that USA 2.
I'll believe it.
That wasn't good for you.
No, absolutely not.
I'm just to be honest with you. She took it to the park.
Ragdoll.
Yeah, she took it to the park.
This is why I fuck with Tori. I'm sorry for swearing. I don't know. But this
Swear
is
it
why
up.
I fuck with Tori is because right before that elimination, like her and I are friends. Like we became friends on the global and like I really like her. Okay. And right before that elimination, she was just like, first of all, didn't know I was going in because of the hopper. Right. And then she was just like so distraught. And she's just like, Jonna, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do? And I looked at her and I'm like, if you don't go hard right now, if you don't treat this as like, this is an elimination, I'm your opponent. Like we are not friends right now. Like, cause that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try, you know? And so yeah, that was that moment. And that's like why I like her because she was so like, she is genuine. And I feel like she gets a lot of like bad, you know, reputation from like, you know, just online and all this stuff. People don't really know her, you know, until they meet her. Like, listen, my best friend from the show, Derek Chavez, had a whole opinion of Tori before he left. And I was like, listen, I'm not going to change your opinion at all. Like,
what was it?
I do.
What was his opinion? You're not going to say?
Listen. I mean, it's the same as everybody's, you know? And so, but I was just like, listen, meet people where they're at. Like, you have to. You can't judge based off of what you see on like, if you judge me based on what you saw on a television screen, like, you know, I would.
I mean, we got somebody that can speak to that right here.
Oh, I get judged hard. I'm probably one of the most judged cast members of
10,000%. Yeah.
Not just 100%. See, 10,000.
10,000%. That's a lot of
misunderstood. I really do.
Not anymore.
Like,
Not anymore.
Well,
I was when I was on the show, but
yeah.
the thing is I took a break, and then when I came back, I think it was like my last 4 seasons. It was a different person. It wasn't like
I wasn't there for that. So
yeah, so like from Invasion until my final one that I was on, War of the Worlds 2, like it wasn't the
you
same.
did War of the Worlds.
I did War of the Worlds.
I've
1
heard so many
and
crazy
2.
stories about
Yeah,
War of the Worlds.
Those were nasty. Those were crazy.
I've heard more stories about War of the Worlds and the island than any other season.
War of the
and
Worlds
now 40, but
it was hard.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
So let's start at the very beginning of the career. Okay,
We're gonna go through that first.
Or what do you want to? Oh, let's actually back to
Let's
40.
just get through this.
Yeah, let's talk to the episode.
Because this episode was quick. I felt. Were you nervous about coming back to 40 though? A flagship?
yeah, I was.
Were you nervous about coming back to any of the AllStars? Or was that more like, oh, this is gonna be fun?
Well, AllStars 1, I had no idea that I was going to even be casted on it. I replaced Jasmine on AllStars 1.
Oh, you were an alternate.
Yeah, I wasn't even an alternate. Like I saw the whole AllStars movement thing online. Like Mark posted something and I was like, oh, that's cool. Cause like, yeah, I hope that they get that. Like I didn't even consider myself an OG. Like, cause that's just how I
That's
thought
how
about
I
it.
thought too.
Exactly. Like I was like, why would I be like, oh yeah, I want to do it. You know?
At the time, you're like literally like
Jazzy.
28, 29. So it's like, why am I the OG? Like,
yeah, but Jazzy got casted, and I mean, I didn't know that. I was full deep in. I mean, come on, I had a 4-year-old and I had a 7-month-old, like at the time. So like, I still currently I'm in the thick of the challenge right now, but I still live under a rock. Like I'm terrible at social media, all of that. But just imagine that like amplified back then. Like I was so far removed from everything, and like on New Year's Eve, I get a call from Aleda, and she's like, "Hello, Johnny." And I'm just like, it says Aleda Lopez. I was like, why is she calling me, you know, out of nowhere? And she's just like, hey, so I don't know if you've heard, but we're like filming this show. And I was just like, oh, I've heard about AllStars. And I was like, why are you calling me? You
Right.
know?
This is the
Um,
first season, so you don't have
yeah.
anything to base it off of.
No, I don't. And then at the time, like I had just bought my first house. My husband just got furloughed from his job. He works in music in Nashville. So like they're like concerts are literally never coming back
Right.
during COVID. So good luck. So they called, and then because of like the guarantee and just because of all of it, I was just like, hey, like I need this money
Count
like
me
to
in.
pay my mortgage, you know?
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was crazy. I don't even know what the question was, but
So
No,
were
just
you,
how it
were
got
you
started,
nervous coming back to those? Because
I was. Okay, so for AllStars 1, I wasn't even prepared. Like I had no idea I was going there. Like they gave me 20 days. I was 7 months postpartum, still breastfeeding. Like was not prepared. Right.
Yeah.
I was 100. I don't want to say like my weight, but I was still like delivery weight, like very not in shape, ready for a show. On that season, I ended up making it to a final, which is something I never.
And you were the
accomplished.
first girl to finish.
Yes. And it's something I never accomplished in my challenge career before. So like it was one of those things that it like unlocked it. Like I never even thought it was possible for me to make it to the end because I had tried so many times and never did, right? And so once I guess tasted that per se, or once I figured out it was possible, then like I went home for like a couple days, and then I was just like, listen, I'm gonna work out for real. Like we were talking about,
Yeah.
like I've never truly
What does
worked
she
out
mean
before.
by that? For real.
I just mean like I laugh because like so before Battle of the Exes, I remember I talked to you before that, and I remember being like, should I try CrossFit? And you're like, yeah, you should try CrossFit.
It was
you
like
know?
a week before.
It's like literally, and I'm like knowing what I know now, like working out and stuff. I'm like, nothing's gonna fucking happen in a week. Like
right,
you like
right.
entertained it, like it's
You're
fine.
like, yeah,
No.
I guess try it out.
But so anyways, I seriously started working out, okay? And then I was just like, worst case scenario, I lose the baby weight, right? Best case scenario, like if I'm thrown the opportunity again, like I'll be ready when Elena calls. And yeah, then I was like,
And then
I'm
you
gonna
sure
fucking
were.
win.
You sure were.
Yeah,
Back
that check
to
is
back.
nice.
Back
That's a
to
good check.
back.
That's my biggest regret is winning when it was like nothing.
67.5.
Yeah, I got 67.5. Like that,
That
was
was a lot of
great.
money,
It was a lot of money back then, but if I would have just won one in the later seasons, I'd be completely retired. So
But
that stuff.
listen, though, I don't know. I feel weird about the winning the prize. Like, I feel like if I would have won money back then, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like everything happens for a reason and everything's full circle because I feel like being able to handle that amount of money and that at the time in the state that I was in before, like, I just don't think it would have been a good situation.
Oh, I could handle it, and I've gotten second and third since then. So
Mm.
I got very close multiple times,
Mm.
and it just sucked.
So just to elaborate on that for you, like you just felt like this especially the All-Stars run and being successful there, just came at the perfect time in your life.
Mm-hmm. 100%. What's so crazy, and you know, in meeting fans and stuff and different things, people have said to me like, you have a full circle. Like Nani, I just saw Nani recently, and she said to me, she's like, it is so amazing to see you where you are now and where you were before, you know? And that's what I mean by the whole like having a full circle thing. If I was, you know, the whole quote, like, with power comes great responsibility or whatever. Had I been given that then, like I wouldn't have been able to handle where I was in the state I was in.
So something that we're seeing right now with Leroy is when you have kids, right? And
Yeah.
you're planning for something much greater. I think you say like whenever you realize, hey, I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna have a family, you changed the way that you started to play the game, even before you had kids. But mentally you had switched from, hey, I'm here to have fun to
Yeah, I was just trying
now I'm
to. I
playing for
was
something
literally
big.
trying to win. So I was doing anything you could do to win. That definitely plays a role. But also, I never played when I had kids. I just played when I had a very close, almost a fiance.
Mhm.
But I can say that it would be hard for me to go back now and try to like lie, cheat, or steal,
Yeah.
because I would have a hard time justifying to my kids like, oh, but I did it for the money. And then what are you really teaching your kids at that point is you can act like everything I teach you not to do. It's okay to act like that if there's a large sum of money at the other end of it. So that would be that's why I always say on here, playing with kids, I don't know if I would even have a shot to win, because if someone was like, are you going to vote me in? I would have a hard time being like I used to be able to just look someone dead in the eye and be like, oh, no, you're good. And I think they believed me because I was a good liar.
Yeah.
And now if I were to do that, I would have such a bad conscience. I would just be like, yeah, no, I'm going to
You
vote for
would.
it.
You
Yeah.
would have a bad conscience. I did notice that on 40. If you think about it, like the Era 4 people that are there, I think about them and it's like,
That concludes the free preview of the Zach Nichols podcast.
So go to Patreon and subscribe to see the rest of the shit that we talk.
Go do it now.